It's a Saturday, so I've got some time to play with creating another dish. And last night my wife picked up some salmon fillets at our local grocery store. They've got a good selection of fish, considering that we're in the Midwest and not on the East or West Coast. So, you know, we can't have totally fresh fish in the same way that someone who lives in Florida or on the Gulf Coast or the West Coast would. But given the part of the country we live in, it's a good selection. So she picked up a couple of pieces of salmon, and what I've done is I've taken the skins off the salmon fillets and put them into a bowl, and I'll show you that right about there. You can see it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is begin the preparation process. And if you look there, this is the book I'm basically working from. This is one of my favorite outdoor cookbooks. It was given to me a number of years ago. You can see it's kind of ratty and falling apart, but it's got some great recipes in it. So the first thing we've got is a bit over 2 pounds of salmon, about 2.5 pounds. They suggest using one salmon fillet about 2 pounds. The next ingredient is rum. It doesn't have to be the most expensive rum, but they suggest a good dark rum. And we just need a little bit of this, so we'll measure out a little bit. A little bit, maybe a little bit more. There you go. We've got a little bit over a cup of rum. And what do we do with that? We put it on the salmon. And we marinate the salmon in the rum for about a half an hour. That's all there is to it. And of course we're going to stick it in the fridge. But that's it. It's been about a half an hour since the salmon started soaking in the rum. And the next step is to take the salmon out of the rum and pat it dry, and then we'll put a cure on it. But let's just go for the next little bit. There's the salmon sitting in rum. I'm simply going to take it out, if it'll come out, and set it on a plate and pat it dry with some paper towel. And I'll do this to each of, look over there, to each of these pieces of salmon. Okay, so that's the next step. After I've got all 3 of them dry, I'll come back and show you what comes after that. The salmon fillets are dried off now and just sitting on a plate. The next step is to prepare the cure. And this is a pretty simple sugar and salt cure. Basically what we're going to do is work with proportions rather than exact quantities, because I've got a little bit more fish here than the recipe book, the cookbook calls for. So what I want is 2 parts brown sugar to 1 part kosher salt, and maybe about a teaspoon of ground black pepper. But that's going to be kind of, you know, I'll just grind it a little bit till it looks right. So what we're going to do, I've got a, here, come over here and look. You can see I've got some salt, some brown sugar. I had another container of brown sugar, a little bit of black pepper, and I'm simply going to take a spoon and crush this all up and mix it together. It might almost be easier with my fingers, I don't know. Now, the rum that the salmon was soaking in after I dried off the salmon fillets and set them on the plate here, I just poured the rest of the rum down the drain, because after it's been sitting in that raw salmon, it's not good for anything anyways. It has done its job. of providing the flavoring that I want out of it. So now we've got this sugar and salt mixture. You can kind of see, I think, that it's got the salt and brown sugar nicely mixed evenly. We'll take the salmon fillets one at a time. Well, I'm going to spread a little bit of this on the bottom of my marinating dish. Put the first piece of salmon in there, and we'll spread this all over it and kind of pat it in. We'll take another piece of salmon, let's turn them around. And again, we'll just spread our sugar and salt mixture all over it. And pat it down. Do the same thing for the last piece of salmon. So there we are. We've got all our salmon packed into the sugar, salt, and brown sugar cure. I'm going to cover that up and put it back in the refrigerator for approximately 4 hours. So here I am out in the backyard on the patio, about to start the fire. And I'm going to start it in the chimney, kind of pretty normal, but I'm doing it just a little different. And I'll aim this down and let's see if it's aimed right. Yeah, just about. So what I've got there is right in the middle of that piece of paper. I've got part of a cardboard egg carton. And what I did with this is I put some sawdust in there and I melted some paraffin into it. A dozen of these things. And then I can just tear them off one at a time and use them as a lighter or a starter for my charcoal. So we'll just start it that way. I've got the little over half full in the chimney there. And we'll get that going and dump it in to the smoker and do our smoking. Smoke. So we've got something starting. Pay attention. Okay, that's the way I'm planning it today, and it may work, it may not, but I figure we ought to cook dinner somehow. So that's it. We're going to go back inside now in just a couple minutes after I get the fire a little bit better and take the salmon fillets out of the refrigerator, and well, I'll show you when we get inside. That's working pretty good. Look at that one bit of really nice fire down in there, and that's really starting the charcoal. Briquette's going pretty nice. I don't know if you can. Too much smoke. But when you look down there, so it's starting the charcoal nicely down there. Okay, next step is a hot one. Take a look at lots of fire there. Set this down on the bricks. Now, we'll put. I suppose you can't see the fire anymore, huh? Nope. Come here. Okay, so coals are in there. We're going to get it, let it start to warm up. I'll put the water pan into the smoker, but I'm not going to fill it. I want this to get, I'm going to use the water pan effectively to make it seem like indirect heat, even though there's going to be fire completely underneath it, direct heat. But by doing it that way, and because obviously with the smoker we've got a lot more distance, it's going to be more like indirect heat, but I'm going to have the ability to get a hotter cooking temperature than I normally do in the smoker. That's the goal, at least, and I think it's going to work out pretty good. I've always done this on the grill before, so this will be the first time I'm doing the smoked salmon on the smoker. But I fully expect it's going to work doing it this way with the empty water pan and the smoke. And at the last minute I'm going to throw in some soaked, but then, you know, just not soaking wet, but take a little bit, pour the water off, put in some applewood chips to get some really nice smoke on that salmon. Okay, we'll open up this guy. You can see the sugar and salt has pretty much turned to liquid in a lot of parts. So I'm going to do, it's going to be hard to show all of this on camera, but I don't know if you can see there's a difference in the color of the salmon. It's a little bit deeper orange. I'm going to run them under cold water and rinse them and then dry them with a paper towel. Bunch of paper towel with it. And just set them on a plate. Because you do not want to leave the sugar and salt mixture on the salmon when you cook it. I tried that once. What a disaster. So we'll just take the salmon and dry it. And I don't know if you can see it real well, but there's a different look and feel to the salmon. What we've done is, with the cure, is to draw a lot of liquid out of the salmon, as well as putting some sugar and salt flavor into it. See that? Hard to move it in the right direction when you're looking at the camera like that. But again, if you look at what's on it, that's that sugar and salt mixture. I'll rinse off. Again, this will go outside in just a minute. Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to put the drip pan in there at all. It's just going to get, the lower rack is going to have a aluminum foil drip pan on it. So we'll put this down in, it's warm in there. Put that like that. That'll be our idea of indirect heat. Put the top rack on, and I want to oil the top rack. So I've just got a paper towel with some olive oil on it. And we'll just do that. Forgot to put the wood chips on. I forgot to put these in, so we'll do it this way. And just shove them in the door. Fish on the grill. I'm going to keep them off the side, because in addition to the fish, we're going to smoke some zucchinis. give us zucchini. I'm expecting this to take roughly 20 to 30 minutes. There we are. It doesn't take long for the temperature to come back up to higher than I normally smoke ribs or pork at, but for that I'm aiming for low and slow. For this I'm trying to simulate a grill with indirect heat. So the purpose here is to get it at a little bit higher temperature. The question is, how should one spend one's time whilst waiting for the salmon to smoke? Got, 20-25 minutes for it to just sit on the smoker. So, in my opinion, one goes and gets a can of pop and a good book, a thick book, something to keep you busy for a while. This is one I picked up a month or so ago at an Estovir meeting, and I'm slowly working through it, very slowly. I'm this far, but it's something to do and maybe even learn something, because this is a history book, not fiction, whilst I'm waiting for the salmon to smoke. And I think this is an excellent way to spend a nice summer afternoon in the backyard. How very appropriate now to be sitting here reading a book on church history with the Abbey just, 100 yards over that way. And it's 5 o'clock, which you can probably tell because of the bells. They ring the bells at 5 o'clock every day. And it's just a nice nice thing to listen to. Something very steady that one can get used to. Okay, I think it is time to take a good look and probably take everything off the grill and go inside and eat dinner. Let's take a peek. Notice we've been, well, right now it's a little over 260, but I've been up to about 275 most of the way on this thermometer, and I suspect the real temperature is closer to 300. So, what we have here, 3 pieces of salmon fillet, some zucchini, and for our non-zucchini eater in the family, a couple of pieces of pineapple on the grill. We'll grab a plate. And take these inside. Oh, a little teeny bit left. Here, I've taken the salmon inside and put it on the plates for dinner, and took a small taste. Turned out just about perfect. I'm very happy with it. So the video is going to end because I want to go inside and eat dinner. But thanks for watching, and if you like my videos, I'd appreciate if you'd subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye-bye.